What is up, YouTube? As we watched the trailer, this was when everyone was hopeful for PoE. When it first came out, we saw the Lake of Kalandra, where all our dreams would come true. Our character would be infinitely powerful. We would fight a billion mobs. Loot was drop everywhere. And this was when there was much hopium in the game. No one knew about the loot changes. Everything was going to be good. Infinite build possibilities. Spectral Throw even working. Mirror tablets that made it so we can customize it to as much difficulty or rewards as we ever wanted. And then we found out the lake is not really going core. So what exactly happened? Why is Lake of Kalandra not going core? Will it go core in the future? Those are some of the questions that we all need to be answered. And GGG kind of answered it today. They posted a news post saying that will Lake of Kalandra go core? Pretty much just because a lot of people were wondering, so will Lake of Kalandra become a core? Path of Exile mechanics. So we'll see exactly what the news is. We'll see what the community reaction is. We'll get some of my thoughts about the whole situation. And then we'll talk about one item that will probably become one of the most expensive uniques of all time. That is not, what's it called? That is not alternate art. So as I said, most people were wondering if Lake of Kalandra was going to go core since it did offer a lot of amazing gameplay and the graphics were truly stunning, AAA quality. Not really, I'm kidding about all of that. There's no amazing gameplay to be found, and yeah, Lake of Kalandra was kind of a mess. A lot of times I found that the corridors were too narrow. I was getting stuck shield charging somewhere. If I was playing Spark, my projectiles would get lost in the trees or something like that. It was a really, really bad experience. Loot was not really rewarding. Lake of Kalandra was actually extremely, extremely difficult. A lot of times you would make the tablet, you would never get that one tile to switch the entrance around or swap the tile or water with a tile or something like that. And it was very RNG to make the perfect mirror tablet. Now the upside of the lake was that it allowed you to get reflected jewelry, and this allowed for certain builds to exist and be way more powerful than ever before. So for the news post, Lake of Kalandra will be extended for a few weeks. We already knew this. So if you haven't done the 40 out of 40 challenges, be sure to get on that. And a friendly reminder, the Kirax Vault Pass is a limited time only thing. And every single time I see someone with the Mage Blood thing, I think to myself, maybe I should have spent $30 to get the Battle Pass. Now, for now, Lake will not become a part of the core game. That's what GGG has said. All existing mirror tablets will be deleted, so we should use them now. So you can't actually save up some mirror tablets, bring it over to standard, and save it up and use it in the future. It will just be gone. Now, they do say they may bring back Lake of Kalandra mechanic in the future. This might mean that they might bring back some of the Lake of Kalandra bases. We might see reflected jewelry in the future. And I do think that reflected jewelry should have a way of still existing because it does allow for a lot of cool builds to exist. They also gave us a little hint that the exact date of Kalandra's end will be announced soon. Right now, we don't really know when it's going to end. We can pretty much say for sure that 3.20 is going to come out whether on December 2nd or December 9th. And those are the two main dates. Now, Lake of Kalandra does have one unique attached to it that will probably go up in price by a lot, probably by the time this video is published. This ring is probably going to be like 3 or 4 meters. I should have probably already bought one, but it is what it is. Since Lake of Kalandra is not going core, Kalandra's touch will not be obtainable anymore. I'm actually not even sure where this ring actually drops. If someone could mention in the comments how you actually get this. Do you get this from killing the mobs in Lake of Kalandra? Because there wasn't a Kalandra boss. So I'm not really sure where this thing actually drops from. Now, Kalandra's touch is going to have huge value in Standard League. Usually this ring will go for more than a mirror, because this allows you to bypass the mirror fee on rings. I think some of the most expensive items, the mirror fee is around almost a mirror, or at least half a mirror. So baseline value, it should have around 1.5 meters no matter what. Now, Kalandra's touch can be interchanged on a lot of builds, so if you don't want to buy 2 really, really good rings or shell out 2 meter rings, which is kind of annoying to sell if you want to not play the build in the future. So Kalandra's touch is a very, very interchangeable item, super flexible if you play a lot of different builds. Now, this item had a kind of an interesting story. It started the league off really, really cheap. I remember I saw to myself, man, this item was only 30 divines. Like, theoretically, it should be worth more than a mirror later on when people actually make jewelry worth mirroring. But as it turns out, I didn't buy it, and it really skyrocketed up in price. I think this is the chaos value, and it looks like it dropped, but the case is right here that divine to chaos actually kind of tanked, because the chaos to divine ratio on standard is actually closer to like 100 or so rather than 200. So as the league grows closer to the end, most of the prices in the league will approach standard. So the Mirror of Kalandra will become more and more close to the standard price. I'm not really sure what the league or the Mirror of Kalandra rate is in standard. I think it's probably like 700 to 800 last I checked a long time ago. But the main thing about this ring is it's super, super rare. You will be very hard pressed to find it in standard. I do think that there's probably going to be a lot of people in standard trying to buy it. So if you actually look at Kalandra's Touch, how many actually exist in the league right now, we can see that there's 77 total. So that's actually a good amount. But in terms of the people who are actually logged in, there's like 9 total, and it's already at 2 hours. I'm pretty sure, or 2 meters, I mean. I'm pretty sure this guy is not going to be selling it, and that's kind of like a price fixing thing going on. And when we look at Standard League, there's 0 found, and for any, there's only 2 people with it. So I do think that this item has the potential to be like 3, 4, or 5 mirrors. So if you want to take the risk, try to invest into it, I do think that Kalandra's Touch could be one of the best value bets you could bet on, as long as GGG does not add in a way of obtaining this ring, which I'm not really sure if they will add it in the future. Now, overall, what do I think about Lake of Kalandra League, and am I happy to see that it is gone? I think Lake of Kalandra is a huge reason why 3.19 performed so badly. I think Lake of Kalandra offered very, very bad loot compared to past league mechanics like Sentinel or something like that. And it was also an out-of-map mechanic, meaning that you would not even need to interact with the league mechanic at all most of the times. And that was the case for a lot of my SSF runs, was that I played through the game in SSF. I never interacted with the tablet because it was just a waste of time. It would slow down my Atlas progression. So in the end, I was pretty much just playing Standard League the whole time. And we can really see how subpar the lake mechanic was, because even the SSF hardcore players a lot of times would not even bother with doing the lake. And in SSF, you pretty much need to do some sort of league mechanic to generate you small currency. So you can see that the Lake of Kalandra mechanic is so bad and so time efficient that even the hardcore SSF players wouldn't even really do it in order to get the small currency at the start before they buffed it out a lot. So we want to look at Reddit or the forums. What do people actually think about it? So judging by the title of the post on Reddit, thank God, meaning that most people probably aren't going to be too sad that Lake of Kalandra is gone. So this person said, damn, I was at least hoping to keep my fishing tablet as a souvenir. A little bit of a meme about how the tablets are just going to be deleted straight into the trash where it belongs. And a lot of people, I remember when they first started the league off, they were pretty excited that Lake of Kalandra seemed like it was going to be Synthesis 2.0. Unfortunately, it was like the release version of Synthesis, which was super bugged and super, super bad. And then this person says, I personally felt the lake wasn't that bad, just underwhelming, both from a reward perspective as well as from a lore perspective. A lot of people were super upset that Kalandra has been such a mythical figure in the GGG lore because it's tied to one of the most expensive currency items. A lot of people were pretty much upset that they made it like some weird bird that we never even got to fight. So very, very disappointing on the lore front. Though the lake itself was not the major problem this patch, everything else was. So this person is saying it wasn't that bad, but he's pretty much just shitting all over the lake and has offered no positives about it. So next up we have For Now, and this brings up the question of, is Ultimatum ever going to be coming back? And I'm not really sure when Ultimatum is coming back, but they did bring us back the Trial Master and allowed us to get Hate Forge. And then these people are just sad that they might bring back Lake of Kalandra mechanic in some form in the future. So most people, I think, are probably not too worried about the Lake of Kalandra going away. Best part of the league is this post. Just need Arch Nemesis to go away. So there's always going to be a huge subset of people who are always going to complain about Arch Nemesis. Right here is another post. Okay, but what about Arch Nemesis? And then can anyone tell me the last time a league mechanic went core immediately after its league ended? So Expedition, and I guess Arch Nemesis did go core. Good riddance. And yeah. So RIP Hexagon Harpy. So most people are not too bothered about it not going core. Now, I do think the sad part about Lake of Kalandra not going core is the absence of, what's it called, the reflected jewelry. So no longer will we be able to get +4 skill gem items. We'll no longer be able to get reduced projectile speed for Eye of Winter and Spectral Helix. Doriani's prototype is going to be a little bit worse since we won't have access to negative like 100% lightning res super easily. We also won't be able to get a super high accuracy roll on jewelry, so that means accuracy stacker is going to be a little bit worse or a lot worse again. Now, this brings us to the question, is 3.20 going to be amazing? Now, I will make a video about this, but I did find some very important evidence that retail WoW expansion actually has a really bad impact on PoE launch numbers in terms of peak player base. So we will see how 3.20 is. I do think that 3.20 is probably going to be a really big apology tour because they pretty much need us for holiday sales. And then there's also the competition from WoW. I think we can see that GGG will finally give in to a lot of player demands and 3.20 will be better than ever. Or maybe it won't. Or maybe Arch Nemesis will be buffed and there'll be 6 mod Arch Nemesis rares. But thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know down in the comments below if you are sad or happy that Lake of Kalandra is not going core. But thanks for watching. I hope you find more mirrors, exalted orbs, and divines than me. And see you next time. Bye.